Evangelizing the Workplace. This is the topic of reflection for our third Nothing More Beautiful encounter this year, and it's a challenging one. To act in accord with my beliefs and conscience is not particularly difficult when I'm surrounded by people of the same mind, but it's another story when acting in a manner consistent with my faith sets me apart from others. It takes courage and conviction to stand up and be counted as a Christian when the environment around me is resistant, indifferent, or even hostile. This is what many encounter today in their workplace environments. There's even pressure to act in ways that go against our conscience, such as pharmacists like Rob Taylor or other medical professionals encounter. Yet we know that evangelizing the workplace cannot be avoided. Although some may not welcome Christian example, others are open to it. Furthermore, as Archbishop Catechetical reminded us, we cannot separate our faith from our daily life. The call to be an authentic witness embraces the entirety of our encounters: home, school, work, leisure. The Lord has not sent us out to be His witnesses only at select, convenient moments, but at all times. Often when we speak of evangelizing, we think in terms of words and arguments. Well, this certainly has its place, of course. But in fact, the most effective form of witness is the wordless kind. The example of a life lived with integrity attracts and challenges far more effectively than just words. In addition to the citation offered by Archbishop Catechetical from the teaching of Pope Paul VI about teachers and witnesses, we're also all familiar, I'm sure, with the famous statement of St. Francis to his brothers: preach the gospel at all times. Use words if necessary. Example is the best way to bring the light of the gospel to the workplace. A choice not to engage in malicious gossip or to participate in lewd jokes, a readiness to speak on behalf of a colleague unjustly treated by the employer, or the careful balancing of duties to God and family with workplace responsibilities are ways in which we can evangelize by example. And often our example will open opportunities to speak about our faith. The witness of peace and integrity can lead others to inquire of us as to its source. Here we can keep in mind the teaching of St. Peter, who said, "Always be ready to make your defense to anyone who demands from you an account of the hope that is in you, yet do it with gentleness and reverence." In this era of the new evangelization, we welcome any and every opportunity to speak to others about our faith. Rob Taylor shared some of the occasions that have been presented to him. It doesn't need to involve a lot of words or time, yet it can make a remarkable difference in people's lives. That's what happens when we place our trust in the Lord, do as He asks, and leave the results up to Him. Among the most challenging and serious circumstances today where we are called to speak are those when workplace demands go against our belief or conscience. Here we cannot be silent. Indeed, the bishops of Canada in 2012 issued a pastoral statement on freedom of conscience and religion and called on all Catholics to speak up in defense of these rights when threatened in our own lives or in those of others. In fact, they are the first rights to be guaranteed in our Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. It should go without saying that no one should have imposed as a condition of employment the requirement to surrender a fundamental charter right. The freedom to act in accord with conscience and religious belief is a recognized human right because such action accords with human dignity and is necessary for the common good of society. Linked with this responsibility to uphold freedom of conscience is the duty to understand what conscience is and to form it correctly. Freedom of conscience is the liberty to do not what I want, but what I must. Conscience is the capacity within every human being to discern what is morally obligatory in accordance with the dictates of the natural law. This capacity must be formed. Just as, for example, every child is born with the capacity to speak, but must receive instruction and training over the years in order to exercise this ability, so too must the inherent capacity to know what is morally required be given proper formation. For the Catholic, this means listening with particular attentiveness to the voice of the Church, which over thousands of years has meditated upon the mysteries of God, evil, and the human condition in the light of divine revelation. The Church's teaching offers a sure guide to the correct formation of conscience, and we have a duty to allow ourselves to be shaped by it. Archbishop Pettipas outlined how the Church, through a variety of movements and initiatives, has sought to reach out through the workplace to those who were distant from the Church. The need remains. Evangelizing the workplace brings to work and its environment the light of the gospel, which illuminates both the beauty and the dignity of the human person in the eyes of God. It is thus an opportunity to bring hope to those who otherwise may have none, especially if they find themselves in a work setting that commodifies rather than honors the worker. We are compelled by the knowledge of Christ's love to share the gospel message with all, and those we meet in the workplace are embraced by the Church's concern. May God enable us to give authentic witness by both word and example, and so touch and transform the hearts of our co-workers and of any we meet with the hope of the gospel.